9 News at 9 starts right now.
2 years after the devastating war in Gaza began tonight, a big breakthrough. Israel and Hamas agreed to the first phase of President Trump's plan to pause the fighting and release some of the hostages and prisoners. Welcome in, I'm Alexandra Lewis.
And I'm Phil Lipoff. There are still obviously a lot of unknowns, but the two sides appear closer than they have been in months to ending the war. The deal was solidified in Egypt after days of negotiations there. Sources tell the Associated Press that Hamas plans to release all 20 living hostages in the coming days, and the Israeli military will begin a withdrawal from the majority of Gaza. The war began with Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel that killed about 1,200 people and took 251 hostages. Israel's retaliation has left tens of thousands of Palestinians dead or devastated in Gaza. NBC News reports a meeting on the future of Gaza will be held in Paris tomorrow.
Federal workers are preparing to miss paychecks, flights are being delayed, and federal programs are being disrupted. The government shutdown is wrapping up its 8th day with no end in sight. Democrats keep voting against a Republican measure that could extend federal funding as at current levels, but they say they're fighting in part to strike a deal on health care. Affordable Care Act subsidies were approved during the pandemic to help people buy private insurance policies. They'll expire by the end of the year unless Congress votes to extend them. If they don't, premiums are expected to rise significantly. Democrats are starting to get unlikely allies in their fight. Republican Senator Josh Hawley and Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
The health insurance issue, it's happening right now. These premiums are going to go up.
Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine offered up a plan that would reopen the government now, but commit to discussing the health care issue. Another GOP Senator, Mike Rounds, floated an idea of extending subsidies for 1 year and then phasing them out.
President Trump is escalating his rhetoric against local and state officials who oppose his plans to send National Guard troops into American cities. Today, he said they should be jailed. Hundreds of National Guard troops are now in a Chicago suburb as part of a crime-fighting effort and immigration enforcement. Leaders in Illinois sued, asking a federal judge to block it. The Trump administration is also trying to send the National Guard to Portland, Oregon. But a judge did grant a temporary restraining order there last weekend to block the move as the case is considered in court. There are hearings scheduled for both cases tomorrow. In the meantime, NBC News is reporting Trump administration officials are seriously discussing invoking the Insurrection Act. That is a rarely used 19th century law that gives the president the power to deploy active duty troops inside the U.S. for law enforcement purposes. Colorado's Democratic Attorney General Phil Weiser, who is also running for governor, says America is headed for a moment of truth.
Our founders were afraid of this step. They knew that the military in cities would chill people's exercise of their rights, would leave people feeling occupied. That's exactly what this republic was founded on not happening. Public opinion has got to say, we can't cross this line, not in America.
A federal judge last month ruled the Trump administration willfully broke federal law by putting Guard troops in L.A. over protests about immigration raids.
Another gorgeous day has come and gone. This was the sunset Sky 9 caught this evening as the light shined behind the Rockies. We also got this view of a gorgeous moon. Tonight's phase was the waning gibbous, meaning it was still mostly full but decreasing in illumination at about 97% lit. But just a gorgeous sight to see.
I think out of all the names, that's my favorite, Chris.
Waning gibbous.
The waning gibbous.
The waning gibbous. Sounds like a 90s rock band or something, doesn't it?
A good 90s
Something.
rock band.
Yeah.
Waning gibbous. Let's go. Meantime, for us here over the Eastern Plains, hey, it was a beautiful day for us, and we're still seeing a beautiful night out here in Holyoke and across the Eastern Plains. Denver right now, very comfortable. I was just outside a few moments ago. Upper 50s, low 60s for us around the metro area right now. Again, very comfortable and pleasant evening. Temperatures, 50s and 60s for the most part, Eastern Plains, 40s, 50s right now in the mountains. That radar, quiet after a few showers that we had earlier on here across southern Colorado. But you look off to our south, and we do have some active weather lurking in New Mexico and in Arizona. Next few hours, temperatures will continue to cool, mid-50s for us later on this evening. But those overall headlines, things will turn more active with the remnants of a hurricane, Hurricane Priscilla specifically, that'll move its way into Colorado for Friday and Saturday. I'll tell you about what impacts we could see from that in just a few minutes.
Chris, thank you. This is new tonight. An Aurora police sergeant who supervises school resource officers is accused of crimes against children. Tonight, Aurora police announcing that the FBI arrested Sergeant Aaron Bunch. He faces charges involving allegations that he exchanged online material exploiting children. APD says Bunch was hired in 2005 and he was not currently assigned to any school. The department put him on unpaid administrative leave and launched an internal investigation. The FBI is handling the criminal investigation. APD says there is no evidence at this time that at any point any student or children in the Aurora community were victimized, but the superintendents of both Cherry Creek schools and Aurora public schools were made aware of the situation.
A man in Weld County says something has to be done about the intersection outside their home.
Last night, they say a semi-truck crashed into their front lawn. 9 News reporter Colton Chavez takes us to the small town of Kersey, Colorado, just east of Greeley.
It's just another quiet county road, until it isn't.
I don't know what to think anymore. It's just everybody's in a big hurry.
Todd Perkins has owned his home in Kersey for 20 years at the intersection of County Road 53 and 44.
We've heard the brakes screeching and people just don't pay attention and run the stop signs.
Todd says this is the result.
Yesterday.
He says last night a truck ran the stop sign, and when a semi swerved to avoid it, the semi rolled over into his yard.
You look at that mess and you wonder how he even made it.
Leaving Todd to clean up what's left behind.
I put these temporary panels up just so I could turn my cows out.
In 2023, Weld County says they installed flashing stop signs to slow people down. Todd says it wasn't enough.
One of the issues with this intersection that you have to be here to understand is, look at this truck just behind me. They stop at the stop sign, but look how far that he has to pull out before he can see whether traffic is clear going east or west. Families that live here say that's one of the biggest problems.
Todd has a solution in mind.
It'd have to be a light, both directions.
Weld County says they're considering that option.
I think they probably ought to move quicker than later, sooner than later.
Todd says it may not fix the problem, but it may mean fewer crashes.
To call your daughter, your mother, your father to say, you know what, such and such just lost his life at intersection 53 and 44.
He just hopes one day he won't be dealing with this anymore.
Every day.
And his country corner will be quiet once again.
We got to fix this before we lose more.
In Weld County, Colton Chavez, 9 News.
Denver is considering a program that would change how much you pay to park in the city. The city's transportation department just shared some of the early details with the city council committee. The program they're considering would be based on demand. The city says it would look to analytics to help inform them of what that pricing would be.
It's more affordable and it gets you most of the way there. It's still a really accurate reflection, and it would be constantly revisited because we know that, again, the land uses drive the demand.
There is no timeline right now for when or even if this parking program would begin.
Xcel Energy is taking residents in Elbert County to court to take some of their land. Those residents are not even Xcel customers. The utility filed eminent domain proceedings against more than a dozen property owners, despite commissioners in both Elbert and El Paso counties denying permits for the utility's Power Pathway transmission project. That project will create 500 miles of 140-foot transmission lines. It's designed to move future renewable energy from the Eastern Plains to the Denver metro area, where Xcel serves its customers. Don Gray is among the people facing legal action. Xcel proposed placing a tower roughly 120 to 130 feet from his house, and they're seeking roughly 6 acres of his property.
Once we know they're going to do the project, that's a different negotiation. Right now, there is no given that they're going to even have this project within Elbert County.
Xcel is also going to court to try to get a judge to overturn Elbert and El Paso counties' permit denials. In a statement, Xcel said the county's decisions jeopardize the timely and cost-effective completion of Colorado's Power Pathway. And on eminent domain, Xcel said it's a last resort.
The risk of wildfires here in Colorado is never far from minds, and since the Marshall Fire, Boulder County is getting pretty proactive about fire prevention.
9 News reporter Rachel Krause shows us how a new program aims to make it harder for fires to spread.
The sound of chainsaws cut the warm October air. There are just some specific areas that really tend to get a lot of this growth.
David Garcia's blade, sharp against dead growth.
Yeah, there's no shortage of work for me, for sure.
As a wildfire mitigation specialist with Boulder County, Garcia says he and his crew are clearing away the extra growth and dead materials that can line waterways and clog ditches.
And the Marshall Fire really kind of put the spotlight on all the fuels that are along these ditch corridors.
The Marshall Fire.
It was the day before New Year's, December 30th.
At the time, Garcia was working with Boulder Fire Rescue. He says the flames moved quickly in areas they never expected to burn.
We were doing some search and rescue right off of McCaslin in these houses to make sure the folks were able to evacuate. You never thought with the Marshall Fire something like that would jump to Louisville or Lafayette or Superior or anything like that.
It became the most destructive wildfire in Colorado history, destroying more than 1,000 homes and causing billions in damage. 2 people and hundreds of pets were killed. After years spent putting fires out, now Garcia is working to prevent another urban wildfire from happening.
We really have to take care of areas like this, especially that are adjacent to neighborhoods or, critical infrastructure.
Garcia hopes clearing away this dead growth will remove fuel for the next fire.
And so they can rest easier at night knowing that we've done what we can to take care of the fuel, because it really does take a community to make sure that everybody's safe.
In Boulder County, Rachel Krause, 9 News.